Hello children, I hope you are all happy and safe. Welcome to this special English hour. Here, every day, we will learn something new in a fun and interesting way. Are you ready to have fun? Then come, let's begin our day with a dance. Please stand up and join me in a dance.
All these animals in the zoo, all day long, what do? Walk, talk, study, no, they dance. All these animals in the zoo, how do you think do the snakes dance? They wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle and wiggle. All these animals in the zoo, how do you think do the penguins dance? They waddle. Waddle, waddle, waddle and waddle. All these animals in the zoo, how do you think do the elephants dance? They sway. Sway, sway, sway and sway.
Children, while learning a language, it is very important that we keep learning new words. So now I would like to share with you a few new words. Please listen to me carefully and note them down in your notebook. We will come across these words in the lesson that we'll be reading today. The first word is beams. 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 The second word is bobbing. 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 The third word is cloak. 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 The fourth word is treasure. 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 Children, let me repeat the words once again for you. Beams, bobbing, cloak and treasure. We will come across these words in the lesson that we'll be reading. Let's try to look out for these words and guess their meaning. Children, now I would like to read to you a very interesting lesson. The title of the lesson is The King of the Golden River. If you have a textbook, please open to page number 79 and point to the words as I read. If you don't have a textbook, please see your TV screens and listen to me carefully. Children, please look out for the words we noted earlier. Children, we will be reading a very interesting lesson today. The King of the Golden River. Part 1. Long, long ago, in the mountainous part of a country, there was a fertile valley. There were many waterfalls leaping down the mountain tops, but not into the valley. They all ran down the other side of the mountain. One of the falls was very high and shone like gold in the beams of the evening sun. People called it the Golden River. Now, though there were no streams running down to the valley itself, the wind constantly brought the clouds to the valley. Even when the rest of the country was dry, it always rained in the valley. In the valley, the wind and the clouds made the crops green, the hay high, the apples red, the grapes purple, and the honey sweet. People called it the Treasure Valley. So children, what is this story about? This story is about a mountainous area of a country. Between the beautiful mountains was a valley. From the top of the mountain, there were many waterfalls flowing, but they fell on the other side of the mountain and not in the valley. In the evening, when the sun set, the sunbeams, that is, the sun rays, fell on the waterfall, and it looked like a golden river. It did not rain in the nearby areas. It was all dry. But the wind made sure that rain clouds came and poured rain into the valley. The valley always stayed green. The wind and the clouds made sure that the apples in the valley were always red, the grapes in the valley were always purple, and the hay was nice and high. So, the winds and the clouds made sure that the valley was lush green. The Treasure Valley belonged to three brothers, Schwartz, Hans, and Gluck. The two older brothers were big, ugly, and wicked. They were good farmers, but they killed everything that was not profitable for them. Even little things like blackbirds and hedgehogs and crickets. They did not treat their servants well and gave them only poor wages. They waited till the corn had become very expensive in the market and then sold it for twice its value. They were very rich, but they never ever gave even so much as a penny to the poor. People called them the Black Brothers. So children, this lush green valley was called the Treasure Valley because of its beauty. The Treasure Valley belonged to three brothers, Schwartz, Hans and Gluck. The two older brothers, Schwartz and Hans, were ugly and wicked. They were good farmers, but they would kill anything that was not profitable to them, like crickets, hedgehogs, and blackbirds. They also did not treat their servants well and paid them very poor wages. They would wait till the corn became expensive in the market and then sell it at twice the price. They were very rich, but they never gave even a single penny to the poor. That is why people knew them as the Black Brothers. The youngest of the three brothers was only 12 years old. He was just the opposite of his brothers. He was kind to every living thing, though his own brothers were cruel to him and made him do all the cooking and the mending and the housework for them. One evening, the two brothers had gone out. As usual, they had warned Gluck to let nobody in and give nothing out. Gluck was to get their dinner ready for them. The youngest brother was Gluck. Gluck was only 12 years old, but Schwartz and Hans made him do all the work in the house and even treated him very poorly. One evening, as usual, Schwartz and Hans went out and told Gluck not to let anyone in and not to give anything out. Gluck was busy preparing dinner for his brothers. Gluck was very kind-hearted and soft. He was very different from his two older brothers. It was raining very hard outside and the weather was very cold. Just then there was a double knock on the door. Gluck went to the window and put his head out to see who it was. He saw the most extraordinary looking gentleman standing at the door. The strange visitor was very short, with a large nose, red cheeks, curly moustache, and merry twinkling eyes. He wore a conical cap as high as himself and a cloak 4 times as long. "I am wet. Let me in," said the stranger. "I beg pardon, sir," said Gluck. "I am very sorry, but I really can't. My brothers would beat me to death if I did any such thing. But Gluck saw how hard it was raining and how cold it was, and how wet the gentleman looked. So he opened the door and let the stranger in. Gluck thought he would let the stranger get warm inside for some time and ask him to leave before his brothers came home. That evening, Gluck heard a knock on the door. When he peeped through his window, he saw there was a strange-looking man at his door. The gentleman was short and had a long conical hat on his head. He had merry twinkling eyes, a round nose, red cheeks, and a curly moustache. The old man begged to come inside. Gluck told him he could not let him in, or his brothers would kill him. But the old man pleaded. Gluck felt bad for the old man. It was raining very heavily that day. So Gluck thought of inviting the gentleman in and let him warm himself up for a while. Before his brothers would come back, Gluck would ask the gentleman to leave. The stranger, however, had no plans of leaving. In fact, he told Gluck that he had had nothing to eat for 2 days and was very hungry. It melted Gluck's heart to hear this. So he decided to give the stranger a part of his own dinner. Before the stranger had eaten it, however, the wicked brothers returned. They were shocked to see the little gentleman sitting in the house. Gluck let the old man in. Gluck thought before his brothers returned, he would ask the old man to leave. But the old man had no plans of leaving. He told Gluck that he had not had anything to eat for the past 2 days. This melted Gluck's heart. Gluck decided to give a part of his own dinner to the old man. The old man sat at the table to eat. But before he could finish his meal, the 2 older brothers, Schwartz and Hans, returned. They were shocked to see the old man sitting in their house. At once, the brothers began to shout at Gluck. Schwartz threw a rolling pin at Gluck. At that instant, the stranger put in his conical cap and the rolling pin went spinning to a corner of the room. The brothers turned to the visitor and ordered him to get out of the house. The little man asked them humbly to let him stay, as it was so cold and wet outside. But the evil brothers wouldn't listen. They rushed at the old man to throw him out of the house. To their surprise, they found that they couldn't touch him. Instead, they were themselves swept into the corner with the rolling pin. Then the old gentleman gathered his cloak and cap and said, "At 12 o'clock tonight, I'll call again. But since you have treated me so badly, it will be the last visit I pay you." Then he went away like a whirlwind. When the two older brothers got home, they were very angry at Gluck. They started shouting at him and also threw a rolling pin at him. The old man put his hat in the way and the rolling pin went straight in a corner. Then the two older brothers asked the old man to leave. The old man begged them to let him stay inside as it was raining very heavily outside and it was cold and he was all wet. But the older brothers had no pity or mercy on him. They rushed towards him to pick him up and throw him out. But they could not even touch the old man. The old man told them, "Since you have treated me so badly, I will visit you only one last time at tonight 12 o'clock. After saying this, the old man turned into a whirlwind and disappeared. That night, a big storm woke the brothers. It shook the house and blew away the roof. Once again, the wicked brothers saw the strange visitor. He was sitting on a cloud, bobbing up and down. "You may go to your brother's room. I have not damaged it," he told Hans and Schwartz. "Remember, this is my last visit. You will find my card on the table." And with those words, he disappeared. In the morning, the brothers saw from the window that the storm had swept away whole trees and crops from Treasure Valley. Everywhere they saw only red sand and grey mud. The valley was a picture of ruin. The brothers then crept into the kitchen. On the kitchen table, there was a small white card. That night, there was a big storm and it blew the roof of the house away. All the trees were uprooted. Schwartz and Hans got up. They saw the strange old man sitting on a cloud. And the old man told them, "Go to your brother's room. I have not damaged it. You will find my card on the table." Hans and Schwartz were very scared now. They both went to Gluck's room. It was not damaged at all. The next morning, Hans and Schwartz saw out of their window that all the crops and the trees were uprooted. There was only sand and mud everywhere. The valley was a picture of ruin. When they went down into the kitchen, on the kitchen table, they saw a card. On the card, it was written, Southwest Wind. Children, I hope you all liked today's session. I would now request you to please make some time and share this story with your friends and family. Children, till we meet next time, please take care. Bye-bye and stay safe.